Hey everybody, welcome back. On this episode, we're going to be making tie downs for my truck camper. So on this truck camper, all the tie downs are on the outside of the bed, and you're supposed to get chains that go down and then bars that mount to your frame and stick out. Well, I don't have those on my Tacoma. Everything on my Tacoma is inside the bed, so now I'm going to have to relocate and fabricate tie downs that go inside the bed. So this is the bottom side of the camper. Right here is kind of where the bed rail goes for the truck. So everything on the left side sticks out, which is where the mounts are, and everything on the right side is going to be inside the bed rail. So what I'm going to do is I bought 4 of these. I'm going to drill a hole and mount one on each corner on both sides of the camper. And I bought a plate of steel, which I'm going to cut into 4.5-inch squares. And those are going to go on the top side, and there's going to be a nut, a washer, and a lock washer. And the reason I'm using steel on the top side is I don't trust this wood, how thick it is, or how old it is, and I don't want this to get pulled through if I go over a bump or something, and then I have nothing tying down my camper. So if I have that plate of steel up top, that's not going to pull all the way through the wood. It's going to be pretty strong. So that's what I'm going to do to the camper, and that's only half the battle. The other half is now I have to come up with some kind of bed mounts. So here's the other half of my battle. I was lucky enough to score these for a really cheap price. These are built specifically for a Toyota Tacoma. And wouldn't you know it's raining right now? Typical Florida liquid sunshine. But anyway, these are made specifically for this Toyota Tacoma. So where this rack that's in the back of my truck bolts down, I just unbolt this, and as you can see, these holes line up, and this is kind of like a cradle to hold the camper. And then on the other side, there's these hooks right here, and hopefully these will be lined up with the little eye hooks that I'm going to be putting in the camper, and then I can just tie them down that way. It'll be super strong, and there won't be anything external sticking out the side of the truck. The only problem is these are made for a long bed Tacoma, and I have a short bed. So as this one will fit right here with these bolts, up front I have to deal with the wheel well. So I think what I'm going to do is I got a chop saw, and I think I'm going to chop this off right here. That way I can still tie this part down up there, and I still have a hook. I don't necessarily need the part that cradles the camper, that holds it in place. I mainly just need this tie down point and this for the camper. So I'm gonna cut that clean off, mount it up there where that bolt goes, and then have this one in the back to keep from swaying side to side if it comes loose or something. But I'll definitely have nice 4 strong points that go to the frame. A lot of people use things that go to these bed rails, and that's not safe. These Tacoma beds are just plastic, basically plastic and fiberglass. So this right here is going to go through the bed mounts into the frame, and that's the strongest part of this truck. So that's what I'm going to do. So I got to drill 4 holes in the camper and mount those, and then I got to chop the end off one of these, probably this one right here. I'll just chop the ends off, and that's my goal. So we'll see how far I get today in this rain. So inside the camper, I'm going to need 2 in the front and then 2 in the rear. I'm gonna have to pull this power cord out all the way, stick the drill in there, and just drill a 3/8 hole. And on this side, I can take this top little shelf out and drill a hole right there in the front. For the rear, this side will be easy. I'm just gonna put one right down there, and the nut and everything sticking up is not gonna be enough to feel it through the cushion. Plus, you can't sit right there in the corner anyway because the air conditioner is gonna be sticking out. This side's gonna be a little different. I'm gonna have to do a hole right here underneath the sink. I got the drawer sticking up on the other side, and then of course over here is the furnace, so I won't be able to drill a hole up inside there. But this should still be good enough. It's still gonna secure the camper down, even if it doesn't line up perfectly with the mount in the bed of the truck. So I got one hole there, another right there, one right there, and this final one right here. Now that it stopped raining, I can go finish cutting those metal plates, and this project will be almost done. So before I go and cut this up in pieces with the chop saw, I figured it'd probably be easier to drill all the holes in while it's still in one piece. So I'm gonna drill the holes and then hit it with a chop saw real quick. Now my holes are drilled. Now it's time to cut this up in 4 pieces. I just hope the saw makes it. This saw is older than I am. It actually came from my Uncle Steve when he moved out of Florida. So hopefully this isn't the last cut that this saw is gonna make. All the pieces are cut. I'm just letting them cool off. I still have all my fingers, and I think the saw is gonna live to cut some more. So this is kind of what we're dealing with right here. That's gonna go on the top side. This is gonna go up through the bottom. There's gonna be a nut with a lock washer on top of this plate, and then there's gonna be a nut with a lock washer on the bottom of the camper. Kind of like to just sandwich it together. And it's nice and sunny right there, but as you can tell, there's another storm coming. So luckily everything that I have to do now is on the inside of the camper, except cutting these. Man, that's so thick. I don't know if this saw's got the guts to do it. But that's the last step I have to do besides just install this stuff right here. Well, it's thundering and lightning really bad, so hopefully I can get this done before the storm gets closer. But this is pretty much what I'm gonna do in all 4 sides if I can't film anymore today. Got my plate, lock washer and a nut. That's gonna go over there, the other side, and underneath the sink. So underneath, it's gonna look like this. I got another nut so I can kind of clamp it down. And that's how you move your hooks to the inside of the bed versus having the ones on the outside. So I can pull down as tight as I can, and I don't see it really flexing, or I don't think it's gonna give. It's definitely not gonna pull through that wood right there. That's pretty thick. I think it's 1/2 inch. Well guys, I have good news and bad news. Good news is the saw cut this part off for me so I can mount that in the bed. Bad news is I got this far in my cut and the saw no longer works. I went and checked my breaker and everything has power. Unfortunately, this was the last cut, I believe, of this saw. Luckily, I have a BFH, so I'm just gonna break it loose since it was about 3/4 of the way through the cut. So there you have it, my 2 bed mounts and a spare cradle. If anybody wants a cradle for their camper for a Toyota Tacoma, I'm not gonna be using it. I think it's finally done raining. I went back to the camper and tightened all the eye bolts. It's all really tight, and I think it's gonna work really well. Now's the part to transfer the truck over to camper mode. So now I gotta start taking my boxes out and unbolt this rack, slide it out, and start bolting in the parts that I just cut and this part that I had purchased and mounted in the bed. So it was really challenging by myself, but I got the camper even, and it's mounted in the back of the truck. As you can see, I have just enough clearance between the camper and the bed rails. This eye hook is in a pretty good spot. The ones in the front, the distance is almost too close to use straps, so I'm gonna go get some turnbuckles and use those for the front, and then continue to use straps for the rear. But I don't think it's gonna be going anywhere. There doesn't seem to be too much force on it anyway. Here's the other side. These are kind of bending just a little bit. I might have to go from 3/8 to a 1/2 inch maybe on the rears. But the front, again, I'm gonna get a turnbuckle for the front, and that's pretty much it for mounting it in the back of the truck. So thanks for watching, guys. The inside of a camper's a mess. Need to clean it up. We might try and camp for the first time this weekend. We need help with some mattresses. I have a mattress, it's a full size. It's actually in my black camper right now, but it's too wide. It's a full size mattress, and this up here measures 75 by 45, and the full size mattress I think is like 56 inches wide, so the mattress is too wide and we can't find one that exact size. So we're thinking we might go to Home Depot or Walmart and get like memory foam and just cut it to fit, but that's really the only thing we can think of right now. So if you have any tips on making a mattress or taking a mattress and cutting it down, that would be helpful. Anyway guys, thanks for watching. Feel free to share the videos, and we love your comments. Thank you.